think we took this long here. This one here was really nice. We got the entry somewhere around here or this one, and then 26 was the target for most, and then 34 was the next one. Well, obviously, we never got there. Yeah, that guy was recommending UPST to buy the stock, and they asked him, what did they do? And he has no clue. Really good company, great stock to buy, but I have no idea what they do. It just tells you that he's full of shit when it comes to stuff like that because he just wants to.
Have you seen the Jim Cramer ETF?
Like,
does the inverse of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I forget how many 100% it's up.
That's good. I don't know how these people get like live time and actually have shows. All right, come on. All right, well, let's take a look at the session today, right? So they kind of did. Do you guys recall? Well, if you're on watch last night, we covered this, right? We covered the levels last night. We started with the monthly, weekly, and daily, and then we talked about the previous week value area low was at 89. So Friday's PD value area was 51, 90, 75, and even during the watch list, we said if we pop over this, you really have to be careful. We're most likely targeting this zone. And then we talked about this Thursday access that started at, I think it was 26, and then went all the way to 42. And we came really close to filling that whole access in RTH session, right? And then we, of course, sold off. And then we did make a gapping value area high, right? Which is bullish. But do you guys think today was a bullish day when you think about how it traded and where we closed?
No, I thought it was bearish.
It's in terms of market profile, right, and volume profile, it's actually considered a really bearish close. And is anyone confused why? Is anyone confused why? All right, good. So you opened here, right? You put in some higher highs. You went to the POC. You couldn't really handle that, but then you closed below your open price, right? So you opened here and you closed on the bottom of the profile, right? So I think we talked about in one of the classes, market profile, where you open and close is pretty important, right? If you're in a bullish trend, or let's say like we have been, right? If you're in a bullish trend and let's say you open at $10 and you close at 18, most likely you want to see that 18 crack tomorrow and we move on. But let's say you open at $10 and then you close at 8. I mean, just think about the market auction. Hey, who wants this car for $10,000? Okay, anyone want it for 11,000? Few people. And then they're like, okay, anyone 11, 5? And they're like, nope. Then they go lower, and your car ends up reversing in the auction, right? How's that good? It can't be good. And that's exactly what these open and closes mean when you open higher and close lower at the bottom of the profile. There's something interesting here, and I'm going to test your knowledge today. I'm not going to give you the answer. Where's the access low?
That area, let me see. I think it says 52, 1150.
This one right here.
Though, but that's where the access low.
Okay, so this is not access low. Why is this not an access low?
Because that's the end period, and you can't verify it.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I just want to make sure you guys are all following, right? Does everybody understand what she said?
Kind of.
M periods are, you cannot really have access in the M period because that means it's been a spike, right? And
yeah, I get that part. But
okay,
where does it begin?
So, well, the K period low is sitting right here. If this is your K period and it's 1675, wouldn't that be the base of the spike start on a bear side? A lot of times, I would say you guys haven't seen a bearish spike, hence why I'm bringing it up. A lot of times we've seen what? A bullish spike.
Bullish.
And a lot of bullish spikes lately. So you guys haven't seen this, and some, if you can't imagine this the way it looks and easy, understand it and explain and teach somebody else, you don't understand it well enough yourself. Okay. So you see that K period was the lowest period, right? It's the lowest TPO we have. Agree? So JKL made higher lows and lower highs, and then the M period made lower highs and made a lot of lower lows. So when you're looking for spikes, you're looking to see where did it spike from the lowest period, or TPO, whatever you want to call it. And in this case, the base spike start is where? 216.17.5. Where does it end? Is it right here?
No, at the bottom of the M.
The bottom of the M. I'm just throwing a little bit of curveballs for you guys. The end period does not matter. What is end period used for?
Settle price?
For the settled price. We only care about settled price from this period. And end period is only 15 minutes. Everybody knows that, correct? Good. I knew everybody. So this is your start, if I can spell it. Okay. And then this would be our spike end. Why is this level here important? Who can list out the 3 scenarios that I'm looking for in this area?
If it's up under the M, it's bearish. If it's in between those, it's semi-bearish. And if it's above 52.16, it's bullish.
Okay. Does everybody understand those, and can you explain them if I was to ask you?
No, I don't understand.
Okay. Good. So extreme bearish is opening where? If we open below what price?
52.10.25.
Mm-hmm. And Erica, I'm going to ask you not to answer the next questions. We're going to pick on random people. All right. Semi-bearish. Where's that? All right, let's pick. Let's make sure you guys are paying attention, right? And I hate this part. I only see first letter of your name, and then I see a bunch of dots. KJ, where's the semi-bearish? I know you're on.
Let me see.
If we open, these are if we open scenarios, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, wait a minute. Let me just stare at it a little bit longer.
No problem. Take your time.
Would it be that 52.16.75?
What about it?
Let me see. It's the M, the N. It hasn't gotten above that 52.18.50, so I don't know, Shorty. I actually don't know.
That's okay. I'm testing now. Keela, what do you think?
Wasn't she right?
No.
Oh, if it,
When you have a spike, I'll just state this before you guys go on. When you have a spike that's bullish or bearish, you care about the base spike start and base spike end. And there's 3 scenarios. There are 3 scenarios that you play if you open above a base start in the middle of the spike. Where's the spike start? And that will be the middle. And then if you open below the end, which is basically what? The high of the day or low of the day in this case, because you had a spike, that means you created a new low. Okay. So there's 3 scenarios. One scenario is if I open above this level here, let's say I open right here, I'm just gonna go into 3 minutes so I get more text. I figured whenever I get more text, I'm sorry, less minutes, I can write better, which is weird. I guess the point statistics is more. If we open above this base spike start right here, do not pay attention to candles too much because might have shifted. But if we open above here, what does that tell you about the spike? Spike starts where the lowest period you had, K period was the lowest TPO, and then you spiked in the last 30 minutes. And this is the spike right here. Everybody clear so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this
It
is
means
our
they
base.
rejected it. They didn't like it down there.
So that means they rejected the spike. They did not agree that this was a valid spike, and they're rejecting this. Typically, when market does this, and there's enough market profile traders in the real world on the floor traders, what do you think they start doing here? Well, they're looking for long opportunities, right? Because you're not looking to short because you rejected this area. And we know, for instance, this 18 level is somewhat important. So we monitor this, and let's say we crack above it. Well, most likely you're going to test what? High chance you're going to go to the POC. And I know you guys don't like about, 8 to 10 points on ES. So you guys will have to look for a different setup, but I'll take this one. Okay. So does everybody understand the first scenario? You're opening above the spike. In this case, since it's bearish spike, it was going down. That means you're rejecting the prices lower. Everybody understand this? Did I explain it well enough for you guys to understand?
Yeah, really well.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I ask a question, Shorty, real quick?
Mhm.
You were talking about, if it goes above and you targeting that POC. Is it possible to also possibly target, because we've created a little bit of value, looks like 3 bars above the POC? Would it be normal to try to run it all the way up there, or would you just automatically stop at the POC?
That's a good question. And think of it this way. I know for a fact the POC is considered the fairest price. If people are buying below the value, and in this case, this would have been below the value here, right? The value is somewhere around here. If you buy below the value, your first target is always POC because that's the fair price. And most people that were long here, just to give you a hypothetical idea, right? When we watch the time and sales today, there were some orders that were hitting north of 270, right? Let's say I buy 270 contracts here. I buy a fill of 17 lot, right? If I'm able to catch this all the way to 25, 8 points on this, and I know this was previously considered fair price, and we went in the last period, right? We closed away from it. I should not ignore it. At some point during the auction that day, somebody believed that the price is no longer fair here.
Right.
So can I take a chance and push this over for 3/4 of a point? Yeah, but what if this guy is really stubborn and he's still there and sends this price? Getting filled in 270 orders is a little bit harder than getting filled in one order. Right? Not
Right.
saying, on 270 quantity on lots of that size, you're going to have some slippage. Right? Unless you're dealing with the floor traders and, you have a broker that's sitting there on the floor somewhere, you're going to get some slippage trading as a retailer. Right? Because the local has to pick up that inventory, and most of the time, they want to make sure when they see an order of that size, they double check their shit.
Gotcha. Okay, no, that helps. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you can hold it, but that would be the opposite. That would mean you would have a failed auction here on 30 minutes. And if you scroll up, how many times do you have matching periods at the top? Man, this thing is. I guess I like using brush, but I hate it on the screen. How many periods have equal highs?
Practically none of them.
Practically none of them. So what are your odds that this is going to go this time to this one?
Right,
Or
it's
here.
small. Might be different if it was a bullish environment, but in this bearish environment, it's better to take the profits at the POC.
Exactly. Yeah. Now you're getting the mindset that you really need to think about. You it's like what my father used to tell me. Are you better off with one bird in your hand? Would you like to have one bird in the hand or one in the tree? It's always better to have that one bird in the hand and don't look to catch that other one, because you might lose the first one. Right? Keep what you have, right? And I would take profits 9 out of 10 times at the POC. A lot of people, professional traders, use POC for profit taking and closing positions. Not heavy size initiation comes in the POC. And why is that? Whoever answers this, I swear, I reward you for dinner.
Because it's fair value.
Okay, give me a little bit more.
They can spend a lot of time there and chop.
Okay, give me a little bit more. One more chance.
What was the question again?
Because they're
Why are
short-term
professional
traders?
traders using POC as profit taking level? Not a lot of individual size comes in at the POC.
Is it retail traders?
Let me bring back the class that we had.
Because day traders care about fair price, but other time frame players don't really care about that.
Yeah, the volume increases.
It's about getting rid of all their orders.
Okay.
Because it's imbalanced.
Let's assume this is value area high. This is extreme here. Okay. Well, let's say this is 10 weeks. Yeah, let's just assume 10 weeks length. And I don't know where the letters went. And this is our value area low of this 10 days. Okay. And again, I guess white letters. Can they not come up with AI or shit like this? Like, you see it's a white background. All right. If I want to buy below value, where do I buy?
Below the value area.
Value very low.
I buy below this level. Agree?
Yep.
And I'm considered who? What type of buyer am I?
Responsible.
Advantageous.
Passive.
Okay. I'm gonna give you guys a lesson. For a lot of you, it's gonna make a little bit more sense now when you see this. If I'm a passive buyer here, where am I showing up in terms of bid? Okay, this is our order flow now. I'm giving you guys a quick tutorial
On the ask.
how your brain needs to work.
On the left side.
On the bottom of the
on the bid.
On the
The
bid.
bid.
Everybody got that right. So we should see it on the bid. Okay, so that number, let's say I want to buy 700 lot on the bid, and let's say I'm on 5 minutes. That would be a pretty inflated number for that time period. Why do I say minutes? 5 minutes, 700 lot. Why does that make a difference?
Because
Is
the time
700 not 700?
it's a lot in the time period.
Yeah.
So you have good prices only hang around for a short period of time.
Oh, you nailed it, man. So we know the advantageous price brings in long-term buyers that snap stuff. They snatch it when it's below value. So those prices don't stay there too long. When you have that, okay, here's another lesson. When you have TPOs, what would that usually look like on TPOs?
That's
The pin bar.
The tail.
Imbalance.
It's called a buying tail or access. That means that this was quick. We did not spend a lot of time at that price. Now, if you go back to the class, we used iPhone as an example a lot of times. If Apple was to release a sale right now at midnight, iPhone 15 Max Pro for $300, none of you would sleep. Most of you would try to snatch up a phone, right? It's something that's socially recognized and it has a lot of value. And then I don't know if people care which iPhone you have, but getting a phone of that quality and Apple brand name at $300, is there anyone that wouldn't try?
Of course not.
Some of you would try because you need a new phone. Some of you would try why?
So I can
So-
sell it for more.
Because it's
Can't
cheap.
resell it.
Sell higher.
Good
So you can
value.
sell it higher. Well, what if the 300 price is gone? Would you pay 450?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Sure.
Okay,
I thought it was gonna go
450
higher.
price is gone. What if it goes 700? The iPhone 15 Max Pro, 500 gigabytes.
Not me.
No,
Nobody pays 700.
no.
Yeah, because its retail's way higher.
Yeah, like 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still buy.
What about 900?
It's as you keep going higher, just get less and less buyers.
So now
Right.
at the bottom, we were fighting for the demand, and those guys that were fast. If you ever tried to buy, so when PS5s came out, I tried to buy them up for my nephews, and I guess there's people that scalp these things. I didn't know about that, but as soon as it comes out, I'm like, holy crap! I was in ad cart, and it says out of inventory. Like what? And I thought I was glitching. I called AT&T. I was cursing at them. I'm like, man, you guys fucked up something. Like your internet just freezes every time and never gets checked out. Well, I was telling one of my friends that's into that thing. He's like, man, you're an idiot. There's actually people that stay up all the night. They have these like some kind of scripts and they buy it all up within seconds. By the time you put in
Yeah,
your
the bots.
and boom, he's like, they're out of inventory and they leave you, hanging there. Wow. So now think about the same here. Of course, there's bots and algorithms. When the price goes here, they use different mathematical models or whatever that is, right? Maybe it's arbitrage trading based on value, whatever that might be. They snatched up all the inventory. As they went up, there was still people that found value, just like you guys did at 350, 450, 500. But when you're in a bracketed market, this is called a bracketed market. When you're trading in a bracketed market, the higher you go and you buy at the top, what happens to your reward? What happens if you buy the iPhone for 1,200?
Smaller risk reward.
Less reward.
Now think about it. I bought it for 1,200. I don't know how much phone is, honestly. Let's say it's 1,500. I have 300 cushion to make money because that's there's a ceiling there. In this case, there's a ceiling, right? Don't bring up NVIDIA stock. We know there's no ceiling. So there's a ceiling for this product that we have in terms of value. So as you buy inside here, right, there's a little bit of less of this for you. It becomes a little bit more, your reward, let's call it this one is reward, it gets less and less as you go up away from the value area low. Because this big guy here, the bot here, where do you think he's going to sell? First is that you're going to sell at the POC.
POC.
Or I believe whoever it was, John, who asked. If this is our POC, they're going to trim position here, right? Because they see a lot of people at the fair price, they want to protect themselves and have a little bit of profit, right? As they go up here, they're looking to get rid of all of the inventory. And a lot of times, just like today, you go a little bit above because that's where all the stop losses are, right? And people are looking to go maybe long on the breakout here. So they all start buying and you see a bunch of tape jumping up. And then what would you see on the bid and ask? If this is the same guy that was looking to the bot here at the bid, where is he going to show up here? Remember, you're in a bracketed market until you.
Oh, on the right.
On the ask.
Now this guy is like, let's just assume he didn't sell anything at POC for purpose of example right here. So let's say that he's at the ask, and don't make me put the ask in a bit. You guys know that by now. So now he's selling limit sell. He's a passive seller, which means he's what?
On the ask.
Responsive.
Aggressive buyer.
No,
No, he's responsive.
he's a responsive seller. He wants to sell it at this price. Let's
Oh,
say
yeah.
529, right? He's selling it at that price. So he's a responsive seller here. At this price, let's just see if I can move this. At this side, you see this order, and that's what the footprints tell you guys. The footprints are telling you when you're in a bracketed market, when you see that you're having a, like today, if you guys looked at the auction type that we had on ES, you would notice that there's some weird stuff going on that we had a lot of trouble pushing higher, right? When there was a lot of weird tape ordering today, the way they came, right? There was, 2 candles up and then a massive delta sell that initiated, right? There was a lot of initiative sellers that stepped in today. So I'm responsive, but there's a lot of initiation and selling today. When you make lower lows, that means you're breaking structure. You're initiating a new auction to go lower. Does that make sense? Did I lose anyone?
Makes sense.
No, makes sense.
Okay. So now this guy that bought below the value here as a seller, you want to sell it where? If I could take that iPhone that I bought at 300 and I can sell it at 1700, would I not want to sell it there?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. I'm looking to sell it as high as I can, and that means as far from value that's possible. And I tell you what, like my father-in-law, he's an engineer, retired, but all he does, he loves fixing lawnmowers, like small engines, whatever small engine you bring to him. We've had people from, well, not me, I don't fix it, he does. He had people from John Deere service shop come to his house. They would bring him a tractor. They're like, we don't know what to do with it. You can't crank. We promised the customer is going to be this much, a long time. And he's like, okay, give me 1 hour. And the guys are just sitting in the back, and here comes a tractor. It's working. And now, the other day, he's like, yeah, I got a great lawnmower, man. I'm like, why did you sell it yet? He's like, not yet. And again, I'm just bringing up his process. He does not finish any economy school, finance school. He's just a guy that uses the value and the timing perfectly. He's like,
he waits till Friday.
He said, I have 2 reasons to wait.
I remember you said that. He waits till Friday.
He did it again today. He has different reasons today. Does anyone want to think why he would want to wait?
Because that's when people get paid.
Well, but besides Shorty, who else cuts grass in February and March?
Oh, yeah.
No one.
No one.
Yeah, not too much.
Not too many people do that, right? So the demand for cutting grass. How do you know if your lawnmower works if you didn't have to cut the grass?
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't. So you have to wait till you crank it. And then you're going to look up and be like, I need a lawnmower. Let me go check wherever he sells. Right? So he figured the timing is bad. And he goes, the second one is he says, instead of sending to Zelensky, I want them to come to me. And I said, what do you mean? He's like, tax refunds. He's like, people are going to need it. And they're going to have cash. And I want their cash. That's what he told me. So he's waiting for 2 things, right? The money from returns, and then for demand to kick in for cutting season. And the same here, guys. It's always the same. And it's not as straightforward when you have a physical asset and a perceived, for instance, NVIDIA stock as an asset, right? If you don't know how to fundamentally value, which our market doesn't at the moment, you're going to pay premium on a lot of, for instance, tech stocks, right? I'm not sure who in their right mind would, sell a kidney and go buy an NVIDIA stock right now. Maybe they know something that we don't, right? But those same people did not want to buy when it was at 98 and $100. So now you can see how they can trick you, right? That it's time to buy NVIDIA, that it wasn't at the 100 below the value, but it's a great buy here at $900. And as a trader, your job is to figure out what
the real time to buy is, or the time to sell.
Then what is the perceived value at that time, right? And there's many ways to do that, right? Based on TPOs, consolidation, looking where, you do have a current value creation on volume profile, right? You guys have that feature. You can use it on TPO, I believe. Well, never mind, not on TPO. On volume volume profile, you can do that. Is there anyone that doesn't get what I was trying to teach you guys on this example here? Does it make sense combining this with this and knowing where they show up?
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
I have one question. It does make sense though. Should we be looking at the 5-minute TPO or 15?
Well, usually TPO periods are 30 minutes, right? But you can go on 5 minutes time frame, right, and look at it. It doesn't change anything.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shorty. I'm in order flow. I'm a little tired. Sorry about that.
Order flow. On order flow, so the way I look at it, right? If I'm getting ready to enter the market, I like to use 5 minutes, right? Because it gives me a little bit more clarity on new size orders, new orders coming in. So I can see if there's, for instance, an ask that's aggressive and I'm looking to go long, like today at 18. I was looking to see if there's an aggressive buyer that steps in. I saw him immediately and I put it on as well. I use 5 for an entry. 30 minutes is really the default that you want to analyze the market in. Right? You want to see how's the volume distributed, how are the orders distributed, where's the aggression, is there any imbalances coming in? That's what you're paying attention to in 30 minutes. If you start relying too much on 3-minute imbalances, your account balance is also going to look a little like 3 minutes. It's going to be short and quick that you're not going to be much in the market. So you want to use 30 minutes to identify your entries like levels, and then you use 5 minutes to really target where you're getting in. At least that's what I do. And if you use 10 minutes, that's kudos to you. Maybe you just have the better ability to read than I can in terms of orders, what's coming in, and where. My eyes just use 5. Nothing wrong with using higher time frame, but I just need a little bit zoom. All right. Hopefully that was helpful for some of you just to kind of pick up what's going on. Where are these candles? Okay. So far, I know we went off topic, but spike we covered opening bearish below 52.10. If we open below 52.10, that would be extremely bearish, right? If we open above 216, that's a rejection of bearish bias, and most likely it's going to auction a little bit higher. And then we start talking about, can it go here, here, or there, right? That's the second one. And the third one is if it opens in between here, right? It's not rejecting it, right? Going higher, but it's also not going below. So they're determining to see where it goes. So if we open and then we start auctioning higher, again, 16, that goes from, semi-bearish to just neutral to bullish. Does that make sense? Because if you open right out of the gate and you reject it, it would mean a tad bit more. Fair?
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Mhm.
With these spikes that you were just referring to, like the bullish bias, is this the same like when you look back at the chart and you see, the big pin bar and then it spends like several days above that level, or maybe the whole day? Is it kind of like what you're explaining, the same thing?
The base spike, the only thing that you have to really, it's not. The base spikes are only measured the last 30 minutes. So it doesn't matter what kind of candle you print. If in 30 minutes your previous lowest TPO is broken, most of that auction that just occurred is going to have to be justified tomorrow. It carries forward to the next day to make sure just the last 30 minutes. And it's just a concept using TPO profile. So what kind of candle it prints, and where does it hang, above or below? Not related to this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So everybody okay on spikes now? Here.
Yeah, that was a great question. Thanks.
Okay. So tomorrow, what do you guys think my plan would be? What's the level that I would watch? It'd be between these two levels and where we open, right? If we open, right? If we open above this blue level, then I know to turn a little bit bullish, right? And that'll be somewhere here. Would I, throw in super size right here and go long?
No.
No, right? No. It's just the market information telling you the auction is not willing to go low where it went in the last 30 minutes. It doesn't mean you're taking all your money, you're selling your assets, and you're going long in a stock market. No, it's just market generated information is flipping the bias on the last period. And most likely there will be a chance that we go back. Because if you think about it, is this a bearish profile as it by itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it super bearish like you guys think?
Close below the open.
Okay, that's one, but the profile itself, not the price. The profile, the shape of the profile.
Was it a D?
It looks like a perfect D, right? It looks like a
But
normal distribution, and also your value shifted, you gap up with value higher. So the profile is actually by itself is just a neutral, bearish neutral D profile, right? Bearish because the price closed on the lower end of it, right? But as a profile, it's just a neutral profile, right? It's a D shape and you had a sell off and you had a little bit of access right at the CPOC, right? So even if I draw this level here, it wouldn't really help me much. Let's just put it. So there means there's a little bit of access on the top of the D-shaped profile. So they don't have to come back and visit this. If it was a failed auction, it might mean a little bit differently. But in this case, this is not access here. We have a spike. So there's nothing to draw besides, I know the spike ends the way I write it means also the low of the day for me. Therefore, I don't need to add anything here to the chart. So neutral profile with the value shifting higher. If we open below this level 210, what would you guys think the next step would be on the market?
Consolidate in there.
What level would
Or
you
it could-
target?
5190 might be next.
I would first target to see this level right here. Why do you guys think this level here would be important? Or would
There's
be
buyers previously there.
Another
Oh.
access for
This was like sellers. This would be access to the sell side, right? This is single period and the price went lower for that day, right? So this is the access that we gapped over. So if it was true absorption, right? And that means that these, let's say, sellers now became what? Isn't that the concept of the flip, SR flip? What would that mean?
Should be support then.
It should be support. So as we come here, we're expecting to see if there's any buyers in this range of 198 and 202. And where would I look?
Right there within that range.
Oh, like on the screen.
On the footprint.
Where
On the
would I-
footprints.
On the footprints, I would pay attention to what side, left or right? Bid or ask?
Yeah.
On a bid for
Bid.
the passive buyers.
Yeah, so if these are passive buyers, I'm looking on the bid to see if they're showing up. If I see the bid is not getting any inflation as we're coming here, not worth it, right? That means that these guys were gapped over and most likely these guys are just gonna accelerate the selling. Okay, so I would watch if you lose 210, most likely you can catch, I would say a happy target here of 202 or 200. In this zone, you want to start closing, right? Unless you have a larger position and you trim and then you place a stop loss or a trailing somewhere above. But it wouldn't be a bad target to aim. And then below that, we never really even checked to see if these buyers at this level, which is fairly important, 90 and 89, if the buyers are going to respond here. I would think at this time, if we crack this right here, my target would be what?
Oh, that X's high area, but more so the PWL.
I would target to see this here first. I mean, if I can catch this, right, that's 20 points. I'm taking this short here, 20 points. How many can I afford on the risk?
About 6 points.
About
6
6
to
points.
7.
So depending on how your entry is here, right? You have 6, 7 points. You can manage it maybe here somewhere within the POC and then shift. But if I can do 6 points for a reward about 20, that's pretty good. Right? And most likely they would target this because if this was our value area before, and let's say we got all these awesome buyers, what should this value area high do here? There's only
Bounce.
two things the price does. What is it?
Accept or reject.
So what would you expect when you have a balance like you did here in value and you went up? What would you expect at this level first?
Bounce.
You expect a bounce right here. But also you would expect a different type of buyer. Who's that and why?
A limit buyer.
Why?
Aggressive.
Because that's value area high from that day, they may consider it a fair price to buy in at.
Okay, that's value area high. What else is it? It's also a previous week value area low. So there's a chance that what if the price dips a little bit below it and goes to 51.85? Would that be a good scenario to buy?
Rinse have to confirm.
Very good.
Dropped under, it failed and came back.
Because, you know, in ES, if we're in some sort of balance, and I would say we are, right? So if you look at this profile here, I believe this is monthly. Let me make sure. Yep, this is our monthly profile. I'll just go 3 hours. If this is our monthly profile, right, and we look like we are P-shape somewhat with multiple distributions, then this volume node that's sitting right here might be one of interest, right, where they bounce, right, and where they create liquidity, and that's something that you would watch for. So if they go here, there's a high chance that they can bounce at 51.84. It would look like a trap, like they're selling off. Why? Because they just cracked previous week value area low. You go back to a chart and find the last time they cracked below previous week value area low and they continued. Suggestion, you have to go back 24 weeks. So it means lately hasn't happened, right? So as soon as the price goes below, what does it tell you it does?
It's bought.
It's bought, like what I explained earlier when I moved the chart up, it's bought below value. And it doesn't spend a lot of time there. And go back on the weekly if you want to learn this stuff and check how many times the price went below on the weekly and how quickly the price gained that weekly and went to the opposite extreme. It happened a lot, right? So there's other time frame buyers that are stepping when the price goes below value and they snatch it up. And this also seems to be another good scenario for it to do that. A lot of people are going to get bearish, just like a lot of people got bullish here, right? So there's a high chance that they go here, they crack this, and then new all-time highs. The only way that this, you know, would work is if this, let's say, weekly closes and makes, let's say, a new lower low and we start framing down. That would be a really drastic difference for any other week that we've had, and that's what we were paying attention to, but that's weekly. So I'm just giving you a scenario here. Don't take it to the bank and run because it hasn't happened yet. Okay. Any questions on ES? Can you trade off of the plan?
Yes, definitely.
Is there anyone that can't? Yeah, good. I'll write up my plan in Shorty's corner. It will be fairly easy in what you guys heard from here. And then let's see what tomorrow brings. I would expect tomorrow could be that we consolidate lower here, but let's see how we open. And I don't even know where we are after hours. Okay, well, we're right where we thought they would be. So yeah. Let's see what they do here. Because right now here, if you guys think, if you grab from here to here and not include everything, this is going to be a decent node here where we bounced. And we bounced right on it.
Wow.
So yeah, they're most likely going to potentially hold this overnight. All right. Thank you guys. And hopefully you guys learned something tonight. I don't mind these sessions because it gives you fresh perspective in terms of what happened and what did you see, and kind of start picking up the knowledge so you can see it live the next time, right? And when it's being created. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I have a page and a half of notes, bro. Thank you.
Tony.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shorty.
Thank you, Shorty.
Thank you.